and also preparing our footage so that we can integrate type with it. So let's go ahead and take a look at our footage that we have. We have this great aerial here, and it's a helicopter just kind of flying over this closed down island of Alcatraz. It used to be an old prison, and now it's kind of like a tourist destination. And so what we're going to do is we're going to lay some footage or lay some titles just over here in the water, and we'll have a nice little reflection and everything, and it'll look great. But what we need to do though is we need to create something to attach this text with. So what we'll do is we're going to analyze this footage, we're going to set down some track points, and then we can actually determine our plane, and then we can decide that this would be a great place to have some type, and we'll be able to attach that type and create a camera that's going to create an awesome illusion. And we'll do all this in just a few steps. So let's go ahead and get started by analyzing our footage. So there are a few ways that we can do that. We can grab our footage first of all, and we can come over to our effects and presets, and you can look down, and if you type in track, you can see under perspective we have a 3D camera tracker. We also have under animation, once we have that layer selected, we have track camera, or you can right click and track camera. And so all of these are the same thing. It is a 3D camera tracker, and what it is doing is after it analyzes our footage, it's going to try and solve something. And this is different than just a 2D camera tracker where something is just moving around and all along the same plane. When it's solving it, it's actually solving that parallax, so that zoom where, or not zoom, but where we are panning in, when we're tracking in, I should say. And so we have this island is moving at a different pace than the background, and so things are getting larger that are here in the foreground, while some things are not getting as large as fast because they're in the background. So it's actually solving all this for us, and then it will actually spit out all these little track points. So you can see here just a second that we have all these little colored X's. And so if we just kind of move along in our footage and get a little closer to the island, you can see all these little X's here. And when we are hovering over them, we have this crazy huge red disc. What this disc is a plane. And so if we were to put it over here on this building, you can see that this disc is trying to align itself with that plane of the side of this building. So you can see if I were to click here, then it has grabbed this point, and this point. And if I hold shift and click this other point, then it'll kind of straighten it out just a little bit. And now if I were to attach something, then it would be attached to this building. If I were to check, let's say, this plane over here, then it's going to, let's try and get the face of this building, which if I select this one, then this one, and this one, so it's a little bit more horizontal because it's trying to track the area that's not exactly a flat plane. But then if I come over here to the sides of this rock, you can see that it's almost perpendicular to the water. And so that's what we want, because we want to have our text, we want to have it up and down and intersect with our water at 90 degrees. So we're going to try and get the closest we can to having a plane that is like that. So let's go ahead and we'll click right here and select these track points, and you can hold shift and it'll grab more of that data just to kind of help solidify that plane. And then once we have selected that plane, and so now we are good with where this placement is, then let's go ahead and right click, and we're going to create text and camera. And what that does is creates this huge text, and it creates a camera that if we were to back up, then you can see that we have this text is moving along with that island. And so it is creeping just a little bit, because in reality, if this were actually in 3D space, this text would be actually going into these objects here. And so it looks like that it's not moving quite how we want it to, but in reality, it really is. So what we need to do is we need to do a few things. We need to scale this text down. We need to make the text say what we want it to say. And we also need to make sure that this text is moving how we want it to. And so one little quick test that we can do is we can scale this text down. So just select the text and hold S or press S, and that will allow us to scale it down. So we're just going to bring this down to about, let's say 157 or so. And then what we'll do is we'll just deselect that layer so that we don't have those transform handles. And when you can just kind of move along in our timeline just to make sure that the text is kind of keeping up with how we want it to, because we're going to actually move the text just over a little, and we're going to add another line of text below it. And so we'll do all the formatting and all that with that text in our next lesson. And so in our next lesson, we will take this text and we'll make it say what we want it to say, and we'll make sure that it looks great. And so stick around, and I'll see you in the next lesson.